Hey guys, video response today, just a quick one. Jack Farmboy, just the first knife stories. I think you all know my first fixed blade. I've shared it a couple of times. My first actual knife that I went out that wasn't for the kitchen and ordered was the Bear Grylls fixed blade knife back in 2009, I'm thinking. Yeah, that was just as a product of not knowing anything about it and just seeing the show that I was watching at the time, the Bear Grylls Man vs Wild show. Went and bought a fixed blade knife, and to be honest, although that's not the world's best knife, it did certainly get me towards a bunch of other ones, and I mean, here I am now. But I'm going to give this one towards folding knives more, and it seems to be that's what Jeremy's done as well in his video. But yeah, before I start, go and check out Jack Farmboy. He's the chap that I had sent the JX6 to a while back. He just kept up a good output of videos ever since. My first knife is pretty boring really. It's probably like most of you. My first knife was like a grandparent given Victorinox Swiss Army knife. It was, I believe, the deluxe Tinker model. It had, or even the Huntsman model, because it had a saw as well. So it's I'd say the Huntsman because it's like a deluxe Tinker with everything as well as a saw. So that was it. I was a stupid kid. Kids don't understand the value of things. I did use it heaps, and I took it out heaps, and it was really, really thrashed, but you just don't take care of your stuff when you're a kid, and I would have just put it down somewhere, like in a public park or, you know, in the scrub behind my house, and just forgotten about it and got distracted by something else, and then it's probably just been left out in the rain and just vanished, as things do. The same with my first watch. I remember my first watch on the day I got it. I wanted to just keep looking at it. I liked it, but I was just stupid. You just take it off, and I just kept looking at it. And then we're at the zoo, and I put it down somewhere, and you know, it was animals, and then it was gone. So I think that's the main reason why, like, I probably wouldn't give my kids knives, not even because of them hurting themselves, but just because I think there's a certain age where you actually start to have some, you know, conscientiousness to you and your possessions. So anyway, my first ever knife was a Victorinox Swiss Army. I think that's a common story for most people, and I think that's how Victorinox is still so successful and stay in business. They make safe knives that are really, really non-threatening, that people are still happy to give to kids. I mean, that's about as opposite as you can get to, say, you know, like an Emerson knife with like a wave opener that, you know, catches on your pockets and you know, might freak some people out. So that's why Victorinox is still so successful, obviously. They've just got that market nook cornered. But yeah, I mean, that's a bit of a boring response. The first proper knife that I went out and bought was in 2008, I think, a Leatherman Wave. I wanted a folding pocket knife, but I had no idea about the brands. But I knew that Leatherman were the best multi-tool makers, so I thought, well, I saw they made this Crater series of knives, and so I thought, well, surely the Leatherman knives must be the best knives as well. Which, of course, now I know isn't the case, but they're certainly not bad knives, and they're still, you know, made in, you know, America to good standard with okay materials, and they're cheap. That's the thing. This Crater, this was absolutely thrashed. You see this in my really early videos. This Crater, and look, it's just been sharpened to nothing. It's 420 HC steel. It's been work sharp. It's been every time I've got a new sharpening system, this is the knife that gets tested on it. Still sharp, like it's definitely still a usable knife. Yeah, the edge thickness might be growing a little bit as it recedes, but yeah, it's and these are a bit gimmicky. They've got a carabiner on the back here, which I frankly never use, but you can use it to open a bottle if you can. You gotta push it in and switch it back. Nylon handles, you can get some that are flippers, you can get some that are serrated, you can get some that have bottle openers and can openers in them as well. This is just the basic one, and to be honest, for $40, I think now, I mean, now for $40 you can get like a rake, you know, P801 SF. I mean, it's probably been bested in its price range by now. But it's still a completely fine knife. I just never liked the pocket clip. The pocket clip's just ugly as hell. So you see it's just huge across there. So there's that one. This was probably my knife for a good year or so until I got into YouTube and started seeing what knives other people had. And then of course, well, I think the first proper knife that I saved up, and at the time, this is crazy, I've always kind of had the same job. I've had the same job for the last 10 years. I've never really had more or less money. I think back in the day, we had a mortgage, so which we were paying off, and it was just a lot. So, and I remember saving up $110 for a pocket knife, which was a blue Spyderco Delica, which you can see in my much earlier videos as well. That was a really big deal to me. It was something that, because I wasn't into the hobby, and I think I just had other hobbies at the time. I think I was still playing some video games. I was spending money on, you know, consoles, on clothes, just the younger guy stuff. You know, not going out, but bottles of whiskey and things that I just don't do anymore. Yeah, and so my hobby money was just spent elsewhere, so it was a real ordeal to put aside a great deal of cash for a knife like this. And it was $110 from, I think, an Australian eBay site. And it was a great knife. I ended up selling it just because you do things like that when you collect. And of course I've got this one back now just for review comparisons, which is mainly what I use it for. Although sent it to Adelaide with wife the other day. She used it to cut up her salads. She's on this like pre-sent lunch thing at the minute where you pretty much have to prepare meals in a, you know, very small way every day. So pocket knives coming back in our household, that's for sure. But yeah, so Delica was the first really good knife that I forked out for. And you know what, still, you really can, between these two knives, you can feel the quality increase. It's twice the price, twice the quality, I'm not sure. Better materials, just more made by someone who is a dedicated knife maker. And I think it's just what you start getting when you get your knife brand knives rather than your, you know, tool brand knives, your Leatherman brand knives and things like that. So anyway, I mean, you look where I am now with the sickness, so, you know, things like Delicas go by the wayside to things like paramilitaries and you know, Benchmade 940s and, you know, things with exotic steels and you know, things that well, really pinnacle knives like the Spidey Chef, which I think is probably the best knife Spyderco make at the moment. Yeah, it's all started back with really well, with my Swiss Army knife. I had it when I lost it. I didn't really seek to replace it. I wasn't like, I want another one straight away. It was just, I was probably just more interested in whatever the Nintendo 64 I had at my house, really. But yeah, probably since the Crater, I've always wanted to have a good pocket knife. And this is where I'm at now. Probably, you know, I would probably do fine with 3 if I had to get rid of all but 3. I'd probably just keep the 940, the Spidey Chef, and the American Lawman. That'd probably cover all my needs. But yeah, here I am. And that's my first knives story. Thanks very much, Jeremy Jack. I'll see you all in the next video.